Today I am given the service of speaking on Sri Bhagavad Gita 7.16. So you want me to take class in Hindi or English? English? Okay. Yes. So let's recite the verse first. Chaturvida bhajante maam Jana sukritno arjunaha Arto jigyasu surarthi Jnani cha bhartvarshbha Chaturvida bhajante maam Jana sukrito arjunaha Arto jigyasu arthi Atharthi jnani cha bhartvarshbha
Chaturvida bhajante maam
Chaturvida bhajante maam Jana sukritano arjunaha Jnani cha bhartvarshbha
Chaturvida bhajante maam Jana sukritano arjunaha
Hare Krishna. Let's read the synonyms. Chaturvidaha, 4 kind of. Bhajante, redden services. Maam, unto me. Jnanaha, persons. Sukritinaha, those who are pious. Arjuna, O Arjun. Artaha, the distressed. Jigyasu, the inquisitive. And Artharthi, one who desires material gain. Jnani, one who knows things as they are. Cha, also. Bhartrishbha, O great one amongst the descendant of Bharat. O best among the Bharatas. 4 kind of pious men begin to render devotional services unto me. The distressed, the desirer of wealth, inquisitive, and those who are in search of absolute. So, searching for the knowledge of absolute. Purport from His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Unlike the miscreants, these are adherent to the regulative principles of the scriptures, and they are called Sukritinaha, or those who obey the rules and regulation of scriptures, the moral and the society laws, and are more or less devoted to the Supreme Lord. Out of these, there are 4 classes of men: those who are sometimes distressed, those who are in need of money, those who are sometimes inquisitive, and those who are sometimes searching after the knowledge of the absolute truth. These persons come to the Supreme Lord for their devotional service under different conditions. These are not pure devotees because they have some aspiration to fulfill in exchange of the devotional service. Pure devotional service is without aspiration and without desires for material profits. The Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11 defines pure devotional service as Anya Abhilasham Sunyam Gyan Karmadi Vanavratam Anukulena Krishnanu Shilam Bhakti Uttamaha. One who renders transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desires for material profit or gains through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation, that is called pure devotional service. When these 4 kind of person come to the Supreme Lord for devotional service and are completely purified by the association of pure devotee, they also become pure devotee. As far as the miscreants are concerned, for them devotional service is very difficult because their lives are selfish, irregular, and without spiritual goals. But even some of them, by chance, when they come in contact with a pure devotee, also become pure devotee. Those who are always busy with fruitive activities come to the Lord in the material distress, and at that time associate with pure devotees and become in their distress devotees of the Lord. Those who are simply frustrated also come sometimes to associate with the pure devotees and become inquisitive to know about God. Similarly, when the dry philosophers are frustrated in every field of knowledge, they sometimes want to learn of God, and they come to the Supreme Lord to render devotional service, and thus transcendental knowledge of the impersonal Brahm and the localized Paramatma, and come to the personal conception of the Godhead by the grace of Supreme Lord or His pure devotees. On the whole, when the distressed, inquisitive, the seeker of knowledge, and those in need of money are free from all material desires, and when they fully understand that material remuneration has nothing to do with spiritual involvement, they become pure devotee. As long as a purified stage is not attained, devotees in transcendental service to the Lord are tainted with fruitive activities, the search of mundane knowledge, etc. So one has to transcend all this before one can come to the stage of pure devotional service. Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swaya Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utpadakamlam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagan Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvetam Savadutam Parijan Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagan Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitansha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopiyakanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishbhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalptarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Deshatarine Mukham Karoti Vachalam Panghum Langayati Girim Yat Kripatam Ham Vande Shri Gaudinataranam. Hare Krishna. So, first of all, I'll just seek your blessings so that we can speak something about this verse. And you're all seniors, so I need your blessings for it. So, this verse is a very important verse. As far as we see, there are 4 kinds of people who are coming to the Krishna conscious movement. And this verse can be taken as a guideline for preaching purpose also. Because when we go out and we preach and we try to preach people, so there are so many people, we meet so many people around. And these are 4 categories of people who Krishna himself said they are pious. Sukritinaha. So in the previous verse you must have heard about Dushkritinaha. So now Krishna is saying Sukritinaha. So what is Sukritinaha? The pious people. So there are 2 types, the broad category of 2 types of pious people is, one is Bhogi and one is Yogi. So the Bhogi, usually Grastas, who are basically after the sense enjoyment, who want to get so many things for their enjoyment purpose. But now Krishna is basically saying that the distressed and the desirer of wealth, they're basically the categories of bhogi, right? So they are distressed because they are after the material wealth, they are after the sense gratification. So they are distressed. And the other is desirer of wealth. They also need lot of wealth. So Srila Prabhupada has basically the entire purport is about the association of pure devotees. But before coming to the pure devotional part, let's understand what are these four type of people. So this two categories is basically mainly from out of Grihastha's life. So the man who is always distressed, having lot of tensions, a lot of, they are running around for wealth, and they are having sometimes they have health problems, sometimes they have some all household problems. So, and other is yogi, who is inquisitive and who is in search of knowledge. But all these four categories of people are not pure devotional service. Why? Because they have their devotional service is always tainted with, mixed with the demand. So it's good that instead of going to a demigod, at least they are demanding from Krishna. So at least even if they have some distress, so they are coming to the temple and taking the shelter of Krishna. That okay, Krishna, I am distressed, I am having so and so problem. So please help me come out of this problem. This is not a symptom of a pure devotee, but this is at least a symptom of a person who has certain pious activities. And this we have heard even in the purpose of first chapter also, that even when somebody is doing some demigod worship, all those karma kandas and everything are designed in such a way somehow that we do some pious activities and some sukritis are also collected. So then we are attracted to the name of Krishna, we are attracted to Krishna. So now if one is just bewildered by his sense gratification and doesn't want to, he goes into karma kanda, pure karma kanda, and he just go for demigods and just demand, and he gets and then again demands, and again it's a cycle of give and take and give and take and give and take. But at least if that piousness is little tainted with some association of devotee, then he will go to the shelter of Krishna. So when obviously Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is the source of all the demigods, he is the person from whom the whole creation has emanated. So he can give it very easily Krishna gives. But still it's not the actual bhakti or actual devotional service. And the last two is the inquisitive and those who are in search of knowledge. So inquisitive is like in my childhood, as if I can recollect my example. Since my childhood I used to ask so many questions from my parents. So my mother was always, this girl is stupid, she asks so many questions. Right? Who is God? Why are you worshipping so many gods? Monday this God, Tuesday this God, Wednesday this God. Every day you're roaming about a new God. Why don't you have one God? And then we read so many Vedas in our school time, all four Vedas. Then also we had so many questions used to ask our Veda teachers. Why are you teaching all this? What is the gist of everything? What is this mantra about? This can't be impersonal. You are teaching impersonal. So, all mixed up, messed up. So, point was that although we had so many questions, but there was nobody to answer. But when we first met a pure devotee, this is pure association of pure devotee comes. So when we meet devotee or a person who is under the guidance of a pure devotee, then we ignites the knowledge, all those questions that were there in the back of the mind and coming hence and forth, they just are answered very easily. And there comes the role of Srila Prabhupada, Obviously, Prabhupada has described the role of pure devotee in all the 4 cases. But here, for the inquisitive part, it's like at the click, he get all the answer and he say, oh my God, I got all my answers where I was searching for so long. So here are the answers. So inquisitive are, when they come near Krishna, Krishna give the association of his devotee. And when Krishna gives the association of his devotees, like if I go to LIC, so LIC won't take my policy, they will want an agent, right? So he will connect to an agent will give to my policy to LIC. Similarly, when I go to Krishna, what will do? He will simply make us meet a devotee. And when devotee comes in our life, he will answer the things that were there in the mind. And the last is the Jnani. Jnani is a person who is running after the philosophy, the dry philosophy of Vedas. Dry. Why it is dry? Why that philosophy is dry? Because it doesn't have a lot of practical application. And they do not have that, Nam, Rup, Gun, Leela of Krishna. So without Krishna, everything is dry. So they are running after dry philosophy but nothing to do. They are running, but they are not satiated, they are not satisfied. So they get satisfied only when they get the knowledge mixed with Krishna. So as a result, I heard somewhere, I met a devotee who was basically this category only, Jnani. So he said, my guru said that don't read Srimad Bhagavatam. Why don't read Srimad Bhagavatam? He said, because once you read Bhagavatam, you will not be able to read this Sanskrit Vyakaran and all these Vedas and all, because that is such attractive Shastra that once you get attracted towards Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, you will never come back to Vyakaran. So rather, we should understand this thing. And a devotee who is attracted to Krishna never goes here and there. That shows that ultimate truth is Krishna. So now, Srila Prabhupada tells us, now, after this first paragraph, that why these 4 people come. Right? So they can come towards demigods also, and they can come towards Krishna also, right? So, but what is the perfect source? Perfect source is Krishna, not the demigods. Because demigods, everything is temporary. So they will not give you the perfect knowledge. They will just fulfill little bit of your wealth desires, or maybe little bit of distress. And again they will come, and again we are in the same trouble. But Krishna, what he does is, he make us meet a pure devotee. A pure devotee is a person which is defined in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. What he said? Anya abhilashitam shunyam. What is shunya? Zero. And anya means no other. Abhilashya, no other desire is there. All other desires are zero. Anya abhilashitam shunyam jnana karmadhi anavritam anukulena krishnanu shilnam bhakti uttama. Where he is basically adopting what is favorable to his devotional service and leaving everything which is against his devotional service. So such a pure devotee, if he comes now, Srila Prabhupada is a touchstone, made touchstones who are making touchstones. So, and if somebody is not worth anything, he becomes gold. Right? So Srila Prabhupada is a touchstone who is making touchstone and who are making further touchstones, means that such a pure devotee, that just by getting his association, just by reading his books, right? We have heard of so many gurus here and there, but we always see that once that guru leave this earth, the whole movement, their movement crashes down and everything scatters. But Srila Prabhupada movement is increasing and increasing and increasing day by day. Why so? The preaching is increasing. Why? Because of his books. Prabhupada has given such a tremendous treasure to us, and we are getting his direct association by reading his books. So even if I am distressed, if I may be having a lot of problems in my life, I saw so many times, I'm not a pure devotee. And at my beginning of my devotional life, in my like almost 20 years, long back when I came, so I came because of my inquisitiveness, but then ups and downs comes in the life. But when I always used to see Prabhupada books, whenever I opened Bhagavad Gita or any of the book, and I was like having bewildered because of some problem, I just open the book and read, and I'm amazed to see that all of my questions are answered. Even if there is some question in my heart because of some present problem, Prabhupada answers. So that shows Prabhupada is there in his books. So Prabhupada is basically giving us daily direct association. He is there in our, closets and cupboards. Is there in every page. And you can see that he is giving us association. He is willing to give us association every moment. But what we are doing is we become lazy. We don't read Prabhupada books nicely. And it's not about reading. I also, in my morning Bhagavatam class, I was saying that it's not about reading, it's about studying. It's not just reading and going through these lines like a train, and I've completed 20 pages. No, we have to contemplate over each and every line. Just read, think what Prabhupada wants to say is, then read and then think what Prabhupada wants to say is. And then you will be able to relish each and every line, relish each and every instruction which Prabhupada gave. And if we look at a neophyte devotee like me, it's very like beginning, we don't know anything. So for me, it's like reading Srila Prabhupada books is like, oh my God, I have read this line so many times, but again I'm not able to understand. Maybe I have read this Bhagavad Gita maybe 27, 28 times complete, but still every line and every word I always think, oh my God, I have never read this line before. So such a new, every page and every line goes so new. Everything goes so new. Why? Why? Because this is the ultimate treasure. This is infinite book. Bhagavad Gita is not finite. It's not about 300, 700 verses and so many pages. We can read so many. We have to do that. But actually this is an infinite book. You go deep and you go deep and you chant more and you chant more. So read the same verse, read the same purport, and you find a different meaning. And then you chant more and chant more and chant more and read the same purport again, and you will find that is entirely different meaning. Oh my God. Have you felt the same? Prabhuji, have you felt the same? So point is that Srila Prabhupada books are so vast. Sometimes when we hear few lectures of Srila Prabhupada, we may feel, oh, Prabhupada is telling about only the like difference between a man and the animal, and talking about a soul, and talking about how these karmas are bewildering us. Oh, this we know. But when we start scratching the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, you feel, oh my God, it's going so deep and so deep and so deep. Every verse is an entire world, a new world of knowledge. And it's not about knowledge. We understand how we can make this life successful, how we can go ahead with each and every word. Like Bhishma Pitama said, that I can sacrifice all the pious things that I have done in my life, all the austerities I've done in my life, to hear just one single word of the conversation which Arjuna and Krishna is having. Just one single word of that conversation which both of them are having. If I am able to hear just one single word of that, then I can sacrifice all my pious things and austerities that I've done in my entire life. And on the other hand, we see Dhritarashtra, who has basically heard the entire Bhagavad Gita through the mouth of Sanjay, but still he was unaffected. Why so?
we will win. My son will win the war. He had hope for that.
It's because his heart was contaminated with the desire of wealth, and yes, this was not having any devotional touch, right? And while Bhishma Dev want to sacrifice all his austerities and pious activities throughout his life just to hear one word, because he said, just hearing one word, I can get the ultimate goal of my life. Just one word of Bhagavad Gita can give him the goal of his life, can make his life successful. Why? Because he is a pure devotee. He is a pure devotee. So he is having that craving of hearing just one word of Krishna. So that shows that why Bhagavad Gita is not cleansing me. You know, I am reading for 20, I said that I read Bhagavad Gita for so many times, but still it's not able to cleanse me completely. Why? Because I am like a Dhritarashtra, right? Full of contaminations and full of desires. And so Bhagavad Gita is cleaning and cleaning and cleaning, and the dirt is coming out and out and out, but still the dirt is there. While Bhishma Dev, who is such a pure devotee, by hearing just one word of Bhagavad Gita, he feels that my life will become successful. So actually, what depends upon is how contaminated we are. So less and lesser contamination would be, higher and higher realizations there would be. So they are inversely proportional. And how this cleansing will be done? This cleansing will be done by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So by cleansing, we will be able to get rid of these impurities by chanting the Hari name, holy name. So we'll be cleansed off by these impurities, and more cleansing process will be there. We'll be able to relish and understand these words to greater extent. And that is how Srila Prabhupada is now telling us that although we may be very busy in fruitive activities, we may be desiring wealth, we may be having distress, or we may be inquisitive, or we may be having, we may be wanting, we may be bored of this dry philosophy. Then when we get association of pure devotees are like touchstones. So they will be cleansing us off, and then engages us in more devotional services. We do little seva, and then they are giving us more and more mercy, and then we are able to relish and understand even single word of Bhagavad Gita is so powerful that they can deliver us. They can give us the ultimate goal of our life. What is the goal of our life? Krishna Prem. So even a single word, Ganga ji comes from the feet of Krishna, and they can purify all the sins that we have done. She can purify all the sins that we have done. What to talk of the words which came out of the mouth of Krishna? So they are such potent. Some people ask that why Bhagavad Gita? I am reading Bhagavad Gita since my birth. It's a norm in my family that we take breakfast only after reading Bhagavad Gita. But still I am doing everything. I am unaffected. Why unaffected? Because heart is full of dirt, and we are not getting purified by the holy name and with the association of pure devotees. And that is how we still remain unpure. And so Bhagavad Gita is purifying, but still the effect is less. So that means, there are certain catalysts. So pure devotee is like a catalyst. Right? It increases the reaction. It increases. Bhagavad Gita is giving, it's like it's reacting on us. But association of pure devotee is basically a catalyst to this whole process. So when we get the association of pure devotees, and when we hear from them, when we take services from them, when we move under their guidance, then we are purified And so, what we have to do is how to get association of pure devotees. Obviously, there are so many devotees in our movement whom we can associate with. We can associate with so many senior Vaishnavas and the Vaishnavas who are around us. But the most important association we get is through the purports of Bhaktivedanta purports of Srila Prabhupada. This is the purest association we get. And so we should always take out some time, we should fix up our mind that we have to take association of Prabhupada. So it's just not, sometimes we see that people only read verses or just the translation part. It's also good, very good, at least you're reading Bhagavad Gita. But getting association of purports and reading those purports, it becomes catalyst. So, my understanding about what all my acharyas and all our senior Vaishnavas has taught us is that by the association of Vaishnavas, we get to understand the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita very nicely, and we become closer to Krishna. So Krishna says 4 people come. But how these 4 people come? They come to demand something. They want to get rid of their problems, or they want to have money, or they want to have knowledge, or they are bored of their dry philosophy. So they want something. But then slowly in this process, they will end up becoming a pure devotee who doesn't demand anything except the seva, the devotional service of Krishna. So, even pure devotee do not want even mukti. They don't want to be delivered. It says wherever we are, we should remain in the service of Krishna. In whatever service Krishna gives, we are always there. So that is the nature of a pure devotee. So, Srila Prabhupada says, as long as such purified stage is not attained, devotees in the transcendental service to the Lord are tainted with fruitive activities, the search of mundane knowledge, etc. So one has to transcend all this before one comes to the stage of devotional service. So it's a very important line. It says that although we are not purified right now, and we may be having the tint of some desires, maybe having the tint of in every of the distress we come to Krishna. Oh my God, Krishna, this is like a lot of problems are there. You just handle these problems. At least we are coming to Krishna. This is only the best part we have done. But rather everything rest of it is basically when we come to Krishna, devotees, we get the association devotees and so forth, this process starts. So Krishna says that instead of going to demigods, if you're going to me, then this is the way and this is the process by which you come to me. Ultimately you're just coming for demanding something, association, purified, freed from contamination, and then you come to me. Right? This is the process of coming to me. And one more line is there, which Srila Prabhupada has written, very important. Yeah, this line. That transcendental knowledge of the impersonal Brahm and the localized Paramatma and come to the personal conception of the God by the grace of Supreme Lord and the pure devotees. So these people who are impersonalist and who just take this philosophy as like Mayavadis. So even if Mayavadi come under in the shelter of a pure devotee, then their impersonalist conception is converted into a personalized form of Krishna. So who is the best example? Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, we have seen that he was a impersonalist. He was basically giving the impersonalist conception of the Vedanta Sutra. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just converted that entire Vedanta Sutra description into the personalized form of, and he became a pure devotee. The Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, He was you can say the biggest Mahant of Puri temple. But although he was there in the temple, but still he had the conception of impersonal form of Lord. But then Mahaprabhu converted him into a pure devotee. So this is ultimately the process, We have seen so many examples where directly Mahaprabhu has given mercy and they become the devotees of Lord, pure devotees of Lord. So this is a verse where we understand the ladder by which we can reach up to Krishna. Although maybe contaminated, like a child comes to the mother saying that, okay, I'm hungry, and then mother feed the child by a certain process, a small child by a certain process, and she take care of the health of the child, and then the child grows up and becomes self-sufficient. Similarly, when we have come with the contaminated condition, with contaminated fruitive desires, then Krishna gave us the association of devotees, and slowly, what we do is, they take care of our spiritual health, they make us understand everything, and slowly we are engaged in some services. Little work done, they appreciate us, and we feel, in this entire world, when we used to do little work, everyone used to say, "Hey, stupid, you're not doing anything. Henna, you have done whatever you have done. You have not done anything for the entire life. You have not done anything for us." But in devotee association, devotees are so merciful. Even if we do itna sa, little bit, they say, "Oh Prabhu, you have done so much. Thank you for that." And we feel, "Oh my God, I have done that great." So we get appreciation. And by those little appreciation by the devotees, we are here. We are here, and we could understand, and we could now get the association of pure devotee. Hare Krishna. So Krishna has defined the way of reaching him very nicely. So earlier, when I used to read, I always used to say, always Prabhupada used to say that we have to be, we should be purified of all our desires. And here Krishna says that 4 people who want something can come to us. So there are 2 things. But now Prabhupada in the purport has bridged up everything, that it is the association of devotee by which this gap can be bridged up. So if you have any question, you can ask. Yes, Prabhuji.
Association of devotees, so sometimes when we are in a group in the temple in this one, so to find out good association sometimes it is difficult. So how can we understand is a pure devotee or is just a materialist person? How can we understand?
Prabhuji, what I have heard from my mentors is that we see impurities in others if we are impure. So if we are pure, at least if we are intending for purity, then we can look at the qualities of other Vaishnavas. Because it's said that every living entity on this entire universe is having some or the other qualities. And I'm not talking about animals. They are also having qualities. And now we're talking about human beings. Now I'm not talking about human beings. Rather I'm talking about those super class human beings, those who are following 4 regulative principles. It's very rare, species on earth who are following 4 regulative principles. And just not 4 regulative principles, they are also chanting Hari name, holy name. Harinam, they are following they are in the chanting process. So that means we are associating with the topmost class of the entire universe. And then also we find faults. So it's also basically my faulty nature that I'm finding faults in others. So this is a primary thing that, like we see our gurus who engage us in service even though we are so impure. right? They engage us in this service or that service, and they always praise us for that. Okay, you done so much, very good, thank you for that. So I feel so happy that even an impure person like us also getting services, So they encourage us. So they become Paramhansa by looking at the little quality, almost negligible quality in us and engaging in the service of Krishna. And while we see faults, they may be having this much quality and little fault, but we will see only the fault. We are like houseflies. So we are not like honeybees. So what do honeybees do? Even in a garbage, there is one flower, honeybee will only sit on that flower. They will not sit on the garbage. While housefly, what they will do? Even if there are a lot of flowers and they just want dirt, so they will sit on only the dirt. So we are like, at least I am like a housefly. We always see a lot of faults. But still speaking, even if you say, okay, I am not getting good association, then what we can do is, we can directly associate only with Prabhupada. And Prabhupada's association is in the purports. So read Srila Prabhupada books. Prabhuji, you are such a senior devotee, I am nothing. But still, what I have understood is that if we have so much of fault-finding tendency in others, so what we can do is, we can just stress on our chanting, on our little seva that we have done, ignoring what people are doing, and read Prabhupada books. So this three process will clean me in such a way that I will be able to understand and take the qualities of others. This is what I have learned, Prabhuji.
Just now I have read in the 311 about the demigods, that we should do some sacrifice for demigods. Can you explain something different?
Prabhuji, demigod sacrifice, yes, we must do. But Prabhupada says that all these demigod sacrifice are accomplished when we are doing chanting. So when we do Sankirtan Yagya, so all other yagyas are automatically accomplished. When we are making Krishna happy, who is our Param Pita, 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 and the transit in the whole chain of Pitas are there. So once we are making Krishna happy, all our Pitra Rin, Dev Rin, Matra Rin, everything is get delivered off. So yes, those demigod yagyas can be done, but by those who are not engaged in devotional service, who are not directly engaged in the service of Lord. If one is engaged in the direct service of Lord, the other automatic things are accomplished. It's just like watering the roots. When you're watering the roots, every of the leaves and twigs are automatically watered. So we don't require to do Dev Yagyas. This is what I've learned. Hare Krishna. Any other question, Prabhuji?
Why do you say that Jnani or impure devotees?
Jnanis are impure devotees. Why? Because they don't do the practical part.
The next verse, Udara Sarvaye Vaite, Gnani Tatmaiva Me Matam. Krishna says, Jnanis are, can you just read the next verse? What
It says that of these, the one who is in full knowledge and who is always engaged in pure devotional service is the best. For I am very dear to him and he is dear to me.
So that is the Jnani.
Yeah.
Among these four,
Yeah.
Jnani, he says he is the most dearest to me.
Among these four,
Yeah.
but not the pure devotee.
No, the thing is, the Jnani, if you say they are not pure devotees,
No, they.
how he becomes the pure dear to Krishna?
Yeah, that is what I am saying. Like if you see distressed, Arti, then Artharti, then Jigyasu and Jnani. So out of these four, Krishna is saying out of these four, the best one is Jnani. It doesn't mean that out of the entire thing, even beyond pure devotees.
Exactly. I'm saying the same.
So actually Jnanis and pure devotee has a very thin line. These Jnanis are not attached to the personal form of Krishna. they are basically stressing upon the impersonal form of Krishna. And that is the only deficit in them, because they are already these type of Gyanis. When I'm saying, I started the class by saying that two broader categories are, this one is in the Tyagi. They have already renounced their sense gratification, they have already renounced their luxuries, they have already renounced their opulences, and now they are running just for the impersonal form. So their knowledge is little incomplete, rest everything is okay. So out of these four, one who is running after wealth, or one who is just bewildered by the little problems of his life, so even this person is far better, obviously this is far better. But when he gets the association of a devotee, then he understands, oh, my philosophy was, that is where I said that Sarvam Bhattacharya was example of this Gyani. He was a perfect Gyani, and obviously that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him mercy also, because his knowledge was little deficit. Why it is a deficit? Because he was not having the knowledge of absolute truth. He was having that incomplete knowledge of Krishna, not having the personal knowledge of the personal form of Krishna. So that knowledge yet attached, he become accomplished and become a pure devotee. So like he doesn't have to that control and viragya and everything, he's already accomplished. So obviously he is far better than all the things. The one who is running after wealth and he want to enjoy his senses, and Gyani, he is already come out of the sense enjoyment, already मन की तपस्या, वाणी की तपस्या, body तपस्या already कर रहे हैं, सब कुछ कर रहे हैं, तो बस थोड़ा सा रह गया ना उनका. What is the left out? The left out portion is that he doesn't know the actual form of Krishna. So when he really surrenders to the actual form of Krishna, then he becomes a pure devotee. I think I'm able to answer?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Translation of spirit here, that desire of wealth, then inquisitive, and who he is searching for knowledge. This Jnani is searching for knowledge yet, he hasn't got all the knowledge.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. This knowledge is incomplete.
Right. This cannot be 100% you can get it anyhow.
Yeah.
And for searching for knowledge of absolute.
Yeah.
He is searching yet.
Yeah, he's searching, and his knowledge is still incomplete, because that search accomplish only when he get the knowledge of
Search
Krishna.
is never complete. Nobody can understand Krishna.
True. That is
Even the greatest munis or greatest people,
Bhaktyam abhijananti. Bhaktyam abhijananti. Krishna says only one person can know me, and that is a devotee. So devotees knows Krishna. Prabhupada knows Krishna. I am sure. So Bhaktyam Vijananti is written by Krishna. Only Bhaktyam Vijananti. He says not even demigods can know me, not rishis can know, because I am the source of them. But only Bhaktyam Vijananti, only Bhakt can know me. So when Bhakt can know him,
knowing to what extent? That is what.
it's not about extent. It's not. It's about. He's infinite. Krishna is infinite. Right?
Yeah,
Krishna is infinite. But it's not. And 10% of infinite is also infinite, and 5% of infinite is also infinite, 95% of infinite is also infinite. But Krishna says that only Bhaktya Vijananti means he knows to the extent what is required. If something is required, I require 40% marks to pass. So if I get 40% marks, then I am passed, na? The rest is okay. So when Krishna says Bhaktya Vijananti means devotee knows to that extent that he can pass. So that's okay. Yes.
I have one more question.
Yes, Hoshi.
So whenever any Maharaj is sick or having some problem, we all pray.
Yes.
So is it, does it come under these four categories? Artho, Jignasara, or Tartho?
No.
Why it doesn't come?
Why? This is because actually this is our selfish desires.
Yeah.
These four are our selfish desires.
Our Guru, our devotee, he is our Vaishnava.
But this
he
is not.
Is suffering, kindly save him.
Yes, because this is not for our sense enjoyment. we need association of devotees, because this is having association of devotees is the highest goal of a human life, right? We need that. So we are getting selfish to get that highest goal, not our sense gratification. Our gurus don't give us sense gratification. Okay, you purchase a black car and a Mercedes car, and so they are not for that purpose. They are for self-realization. So it's just like a knife is there. You can use it to murder, and you can use it to save somebody, like a doctor saves. With that same knife, he do surgery. So with the same prayers, if I'm saying, oh Krishna, give me this contract, I'll be getting 2 crores out of it. So that is basically sense desire. But if I'm praying,
he's not a devotee at all.
Sorry?
If he's praying like that, then he won't become.
Yes, but
Yeah. Okay.
even Krishna devotee, mixed devotees, there are various stages of bhakti, even Krishna devotees like that too. Right? So we can see that in so many temples there's so much crowd, and they are coming to the temple with all this Radhe Radhe stamp, and they come to Krishna and they say, Krishna, dekh bhaiya contract kara de, 50% tera, 50% mera.
Yeah.
So they do that like that.
After getting the
But you can't say they are not devotees. They are mixed devotees. They are mixed with fruitive mentality. But at least they are coming to Krishna. They are not going to
They are making business. Their business
still with Krishna.
Yeah.
At least better than those who are going to demigods. At least they are better than those who are going to demigods. I'm saying they are still better. But the one who is coming to Krishna only for his service or for the service of a devotee is again a far better devotee. So if we are praying for our gurus, we are praying for Vaishnavas, because we are selfish, yes?
That comes under the Anya Vilashita Shunyam.
Yes. Because that's not a desire for me. It's not a desire for my sense gratification. I don't desire a luxurious house.
But if you take the other one, Akama Sarva Kama Moksha Kama Udarati, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Ejeta Purusham Param. Then they say this is the Ejeta. They are doing worship. Akama Sarva Kama Moksha Kama Udarati. How do you actually differentiate between this?
Actually, akama sarva kama, these all type of things, basically a devotee doesn't do for himself. If he is doing for himself, then he is not a pure devotee. Like Prabhupada always used to do the things for Krishna's seva or for delivering the fallen souls like us. Right? He never desired anything for himself. He never said that, okay, you give this particular temple to my son, this is for the Dwarka, and this is for the Vrindavan Das, and this is for the Mathura Das. He never named so, right? He never desired anything for himself, not even for his comfort or for his luxury. Never. So this is a form of a pure devotee who do everything for others, for delivering the souls. Like Prahlad Maharaj said that please bless me so that all the fallen souls of this universe can be delivered. Right? So my father can be delivered. So Narsingh Dev said that already your father and 21 generations already delivered. So point is that they pray. Prahlad Maharaj prayed. But ultimately what he prayed? For himself? He said, make me this and make me that? No. He always prayed for even that person who tried to kill him, torture him to that extent which nobody can torture. Like his own father tortured him. And even after that, so much of torture, he is praying for him. Please deliver him. He is my father. So that shows the softness of the heart of a devotee. That he is above all these desires. And he is praying for even that devil who tortured, and if you read the tortures given by Hiranyakashipu to the small child, even if 0.001% is given to me, I would have cursed. Are you torturing me so much? And that child is asking, please deliver this. He was my father. So forgive him and deliver him. So, and then Narsingh Dev says, it is already delivered, you are such a good devotee, already 21 years. So this is what a devotee do mercy, and his heart is so soft, he forgives everything and he gives mercy to everybody. I hope I'm able to answer.
The comparison is between the Akama Sarva Kamova and this. Okay, I think.
I'm able to justify. Hare Krishna.
One question comes up in this thing, that when you're just so many generations before and after being delivered, does it mean actually they get opportunity given to the devotee, right?
Please repeat again.
Like your 7th generation before and after will be delivered.
Yes, this is giving the opportunity to them.
But they will get opportunity, but choice
Yes.
is still theirs.
Yes,
But
yes,
the freedom
yes,
is there,
yes,
so that
yes.
They may not become.
Prahlad Maharaj.
They will give more and more opportunity all the time.
Yes, yes, yes,
But
yes.
they have to work for it.
Yes, obviously. But that means that with a pure devotee in a family, we have seen, even if, like we have seen so many families where the son became a brahmachari and the parents were completely against them, but slowly the entire family here and there and everybody, even in a normal grihastha devotees like us, we see that slowly I preached and I could preach so many people around, but it was very difficult to preach my parents, So I took 16 years to preach my parents. Now they are chanting, finally. Right? 16, 17 years. Although I preached, like by mercy of Srila Prabhupada, almost 600, 700 devotees, even more than that. But when you talk about, own parents, it becomes very difficult. They will say, I know what you want to say. So now finally, after 16, 17 long years, they finally started chanting. Now we got 16 rounders. Now even after looking at them, even my relatives and everybody, it's like preaching close relatives is more difficult than preaching the world, So now they are also chanting, and so this is how this process starts.
Position difference is there.
Yeah. This all mercy of.
Children trying to teach me, I have already learned it.
Yes.
That is what comes into the heart.
Yeah, so my father used to say, I am more knowledgeable than you. I have read Bhagavad Gita more than you. You don't teach me. So ultimately now, by mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Vaishnavas, so they slowly, they took. So thanks for giving me opportunity. And
Association makes it
yes,
devotee association.
yes. Ultimately, association of devotee matters.
Because at least what they're eating is prasad or eating together.
So please forgive me for if I have done some offenses. You're all so senior Vaishnavas. Hare Krishna.